Unfreeze. Yeah. All right, cool. So I want to show you just a couple of like little small tricks that are related to spreadsheets, and then we're going to graph. Okay. So just a couple little, like, they're just little silly things. One is if you have a label or something that is longer than your cell is wide, some of you know this probably, but you can go up to the top to where, you know, like where it's up here and your cursor will turn into a little arrow thing. And if you double click, it just makes it as wide as it should be. That's kind of nice to know. It's just one of those, like, not going to affect your data. It just makes things prettier. So you can make things as wide as you want them to be. Another thing is, and this is something that I told you at the beginning, my first day or 3 or something like that, that I wasn't going to worry about sig figs. Do you remember that? And you all were like, yay! And I said, you know, it's the chemists that care about that, not the physicists. So here's the actual secret, is that physicists are lazy. So when we write problems, we don't pay attention to sig figs. Sig figs really only matter when you're doing labs. That said, I'm not going to make you do all kinds of crazy sig fig analysis, but I do think this number of significant figures is a little bit ridiculous. Would you all agree? Yeah. Like, that's kind of a little bit silly. So I'm just going to show you that you can fix that. I think I should have double checked. Where do I do that?
You go to the top, like where the font is, and then to the other
Yeah. Thank you. Yep. Decrease the number of decimal places. There you go. So you don't have to like decrease it tons. Like, I would say like hundredths, thousandths place is probably good. And again, I don't want to get into all of the nitty gritty. That's for another day in another class. But I also don't want you to have 17 sig figs because that is just exorbitant. Okay. All right. Now the goal is to graph. Okay. I will tell you that I have graphed on Google Sheets one time. It was yesterday. I'm not an expert, but I'm going to walk you through it and we'll get there. Does that make sense? So I don't want you to get like all freaked out. I just want you to pay attention and we're going to do it together. So if you go to Insert and then down to Chart, I want everybody to do this with me so that you're with me and you can ask questions as we go if you have them. Insert Chart. Google Sheets tries to be smart. It's like, look, I made a chart. You said insert chart. Here's a chart. You say, is that the chart you actually wanted?
Mine says no data.
Yes.
That's okay too. Do you have a box? Is there something, or what came up? Okay. So regardless, it's probably, unless you did some magical thing, not what you want. Every single time in physics that we make a chart, friends, we want to make a scatter plot, one with dots, okay? And then we're going to, connect the dots, not literally, but kind of, okay? Did this chart editor come up for you all? Okay, so if you see the chart editor, I want you to go to that first one where it says column chart. You say, no, thank you, I don't want a column chart. If you click on it, then we can go down, 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 down. Yes, please, a scatter plot. No, and let me tell you the reason. Not because I don't like fun, because I do like fun, but because I want you to be representing your data accurately and appropriately, right? Pie charts are for some things, scatter charts are for some things. Fun super bubble charts, I'm totally down with them, but not for this. We could do a lab where it matters, just not today. This is not where we're at today. So now you have something that may look like something, or maybe you have nothing because you didn't have any data. So let's get some data in there, okay? So this is a little bit funny. This is a little bit different than Excel. So this is why I'm not going to guarantee 100%, but we're going to give it a shot. Where you see data range, I think for data range, what we really want is just your acceleration values. Yeah, I think. Let's try it. So I'm going to move my graph because it's in my way. I can't see anything. So all I did is just click off of it and drag it. Just move it out of the way so that it's not in the way of your data. Select data range. And I'm going to click on it. And then I can move that. And then you just want to click on, you want to highlight the cells. that are your acceleration, wherever your acceleration is. Okay? Say what now? So, oh, I'm sorry. Click on this little, on the little chart. There you go. Yeah. Sorry. This is what happens. This is why we do it together and not just, you have to ask questions. Click on this little charty thing. That then what data comes up. Select your accelerations. And then we'll just say, okay. We'll see what happens. Ta-da! Click on my graph and see what it looks like. So then I'm like, I don't know if this is what I want. So now I'm going to use my brain, because it's not all the computer, to figure out if it's what I want. I'm going to look at my acceleration values. My acceleration values, according to this data that I have in front of me, has acceleration from 0.6, blah, 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 to 0.2, blah, blah, blah. Remember we said last time we were together that the graphs we want are acceleration on the y-axis, because that's the independent variable, that's the dependent variable, and then either mass or force down here, depending on which one you were in charge of. So does it look like, based on what I have for my accelerations, like they are being graphed on the y-axis? Does that look reasonable? Does yours look reasonable? Yes. Do your accelerations match what the y-axis looks like? Check with your neighbor and see if they do. They might not look like mine, but do they look like it should for you?
Mine looks exactly like yours.
Yeah, mine.
Because we have the same data. Uh-huh. Trixie. Now, hold on just a second. I'm going to pause. Yeah. All right. I'm going to wait for them. It's one of those, like, after I do it 17 times, I'll be able to do it without thinking. So the data range is going to be your y-axis. It says x-axis right here. So we're going to click here. Click on the little rectangular thing next to the x-axis. And what data do we want for the x-axis? What do you want for your x-axis? Either mass, if you were in charge of M1, or the force, if you were in charge of M2. Yes. So then you're going to do the same highlighting deal. Say, okay. Oh, come here. And now, see, this is nice because now you have numbers on your axes. So now you've got something.
Why does mine look like? Yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah, so you're gonna do that.
What are you doing?
Equals
Look at that, it's so pretty.
distance. So you
Looks like maybe there's one out.
oh, whoops!
I mean, look at that
Put
data.
this in a separate tab. Otherwise, I'm gonna put them
It's not a big deal, not the world.
letters.
Yes, so you need those to, no pictures. But you guys were in charge of mass too. So you actually, when you're doing the force, you need to calculate.
That's for her. So you can just like select. You gotta select that. Oops, that
So, yeah, so
oh, I
you're
forgot
gonna
to
take the kg away,
2 times and you select this,
and then for force, we're gonna exclude
and then parentheses. Select the time, whichever one's the time.
because that was also force. How we doing, team?
Ooh, forgot the other parentheses.
Do you have a graph?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then we need to, I don't know, maybe like label some stuff, silly things like that. If you go to customize, you can add chart axis and title. Okay. You can label things like the horizontal axis and the vertical axis. I'm going to let you guys do that because you can figure that out just as well as I can. Okay. What I want you to do, let's see, what time do we get done here? Oh yeah, we got this. No problem. By the end of the day today, what I would like you to do is to make sure that your graph is labeled, X and Y axis, labels in units, okay? And then I would like you just in your spreadsheet, you don't have to do this on a separate piece of paper or something. I want you to write down 2 or 3 sentences answering the question that you were asked to answer. So how does mass mass 1 affect the acceleration? Or how does the force affect the acceleration? Okay? Once you've done that, my understanding with Google stuff is that you can share this with me, right? Okay. So you've got, it's up to you. I want you to use that. You be smart about that, okay? If you don't get it done in the next 5 minutes, then just get it to me by tomorrow at this time, okay? By tomorrow, 5th period, okay? We'll clean that up and close that up tomorrow. Does that make sense? Okay? And then we'll move on then. So, and I'll stamp a couple homeworks tomorrow, and we'll just not worry about homework today. Does that sound okay? If you have questions or issues, let me know. But again, I want your spreadsheet with your well-labeled graph and 2 to 3 sentence conclusion. Just share that with me so that I have access to it. Sound good? I'm coming over to talk in just a second.
I just need